Hey everyone, my name is Iasmina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a tag video. These are always super fun for me to film and I hope entertaining for you to watch. This particular one is called the International Booktuber Tag, and you may or may not know I am an international booktuber, and I guess that means I don't come from America. I assume is non-American because the majority of booktubers are from America. I'm not, so that's why I'm doing this tag. So as far as I know, this tag was created by a channel called Daniela in Prague. I will leave her channel down below, so go check her out because she created this tag. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the questions. So the first question is, where are you from and what is your native language or languages? This isn't super straightforward to answer, but I'll do my best. So originally, I'm from Romania. I come from a city called Timișoara in Romania. But I do not live in Romania anymore. So currently I live in Denmark, and I have been living in Denmark for the past 5-something years. So I am Romanian, but I live in Denmark now. My native language is obviously Romanian, but I speak other languages. English is my second language. I've always been so immersed in English, in the English language and the English culture, that I definitely feel like over time I kind of lost my skill in Romanian, definitely. So sometimes, I make mistakes in Romanian. I cannot find words. I find myself forgetting Romanian words all the time, so I just substitute it with the English word because I always know the English word for some reason, but I forget the Romanian word. So the thing is, in my group of friends, we're all kind of international, and obviously we speak in English, but even with my husband, we're very used to talking kind of half Romanian, half English, because a lot of the stuff we talk about is stuff that's originally in English, so we just say the English word for it instead of the Romanian word, and also we both forget Romanian words, and we're so used to speaking English to everyone, and everything around us is English, pretty much, so it's a weird thing. And then there's also Danish, obviously. I live in Denmark. They are fantastic at speaking English, but they also have their own language, which is Danish, and I also can speak some of that. I'm not very good at it. I'm still very much learning, but so there you go. That's a very complicated answer for a question that should be pretty simple, but there you go. I'm proper international, mates. I'm proper international. I come from everywhere. Anyway, second question is, in what language do you read books? English. I started reading in English when I was about maybe 13, I would say. I used to read in Romanian prior to that, obviously, and at some point I switched to English. I pretty much haven't went back ever since, or obviously I don't really read in any other language, so English. I guess the reason is I primarily read books from English-speaking countries that are originally published in English, and so I like to read the original of a book, and because I read mostly, I guess, American and English books, then yeah, that's just how it is. But I'm not opposed to reading in any other language. I'm not opposed to reading in Romanian. I'm obviously also not opposed to reading English translations of other languages. If it's in a language I can actually read, I prefer to read the original, but of course I also read English translated books. A third question is there a booktube in your native language? And if so, what is the community like? I have no idea. Maybe I'm ashamed, I guess, to say that I honestly don't know. There might be. I don't really follow Romanian channels. I don't know why. It's nothing against it. I've always just watched videos in English, and I feel like it would actually be really weird. I have seen videos in Romanian, and even, then I feel like it's just a bit weird because I'm not used to it. When I started making, flashback, when I started making videos on YouTube, I was actually one of the first, if not the first, vlogger from Romania, but I did make videos in English from the start, and so there was no Romanian YouTube community, and all I knew was the English space, whether they were American or English or international, but everyone was speaking English, and that's what I wanted to do as well, and that's what I've done, and that's the kind of stuff I watch because that's just what I'm used to. Again, I'm not opposed to watching videos in Romanian or booktube in Romanian, they never get recommended to me because that's not the kind of scene I watch, I guess. So, and I'll also, I guess, Danish. I know the Danish YouTube community is actually, because that gets recommended to me because of my location. Danish YouTube is quite big, and actually I know Danish booktubers, but they also make videos in English, so I don't know like Danish booktubers that make videos in Danish. The next question is a follow-up to that. If there is a booktube community in your native language, why did you decide to join the international one? I pretty much explained that point for the other question. It's because that's what I knew. I've been watching YouTube videos in English all my life. I've made YouTube videos in English from when I started, before I joined the booktube community, when I just made silly little vlogs. That's just what I know. That's just what I wanted to do. It wasn't like intentionally trying not to make Romanian videos, but obviously you have to understand that the majority of the people who watch or make content on YouTube are speaking English, whether they are American or English or not. From English-speaking country, they speak in English, and that obviously has the widest reach. So it's also, I guess, subconsciously it's my attempt to reach the widest audience possible because English is the universal language. And so next question is, are there any struggles or challenges for you as a non-native English speaker? I assume this is in relation to like reading books or talking about books, and no, not really. Nothing I would pinpoint because, again, this is literally all I know. I've always, for the majority of my life, I've read in English. I've talked about books, you know, in English. Yeah, I know I don't have any struggles in as a non-English speaker, because at this point I consider English, you know, at a native level. So yeah. Question number 6, how do you get hold of English books? Well, I buy them online, but there are English books everywhere, both in Denmark and in Romania. In bookstores, there's always an English section. These days, that's definitely not a problem. But however, I definitely remember when I was in Romania as a teen and I started reading English books, it was incredibly difficult at that time to find English books. The English section in the most popular bookstore, it's like a bookstore chain in Romania, was 2 shelves, like not like this shelf and another one. That was the entire English section. I found it so hard to find English books, but even then there was a online Romanian bookstore that sold English books, and I was able to get them through that. But now, you know, that's not a problem. Now when I go to the same bookstore in Romania, their English section is like, it's not as big as the Romanian section, but it's pretty big. So yeah, these days it's not a problem. But personally, I still buy my books online just because I buy everything online because it's easy. And I've mentioned this before, but I buy most of my books from Book Depository. They offer free international shipping, so it doesn't matter where you live. You can get your books from there. Question number 7 is, what is the best thing about being part of the international community? Personally, I love seeing international booktubers, international YouTubers, international people in general. When you come from different countries, even though, you know, they're on the same continent and whatever, every culture, every country has its own culture and its own unique things that make you different. It makes the way you speak, even English, it makes the way you speak English different. It makes the way you think different. And I love that. I feel like that's a healthy way to have as many people from as many different places around you, because then you are influenced by so many different points of view. And in a way, I think it's unhealthy to surround yourself with the same kind of people. And I'm not saying that if you live in the same country, you have the same point of view. Not at all. But we do sometimes tend to gravitate, obviously, towards people who are similar to us, and I think it's really important to have access to as many different perspectives and just have that diversity, because I think diversity is super important. So I love seeing videos from people who are not from an English-speaking country speaking English. I think it's awesome. Or speaking their native language, even though I don't understand it. I still think it's cool. I don't like speaking in my native language on video. I just find it awkward. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I'm so used to speaking English that I feel really awkward speaking Romanian to a camera. I can speak Romanian just fine to other Romanians, but so apologies, but I'm not gonna say anything in Romanian because it's awkward. Question number 8 is, do you watch other international booktube channels? Shout out a channel that you found recently. Yeah, like I said, I watch a lot of booktube channels from all over the place. I'll definitely put links in the description to more international booktubers that I know of, because I do know a lot, and if I try to say them all now, I'll definitely forget some, and that's not cool. But the one I want to mention in particular is actually the person that I watched this tag from originally. I thought it was really cool, and that is the Book Castle. Her name is Alice, she's from Norway, and she makes really cool booktube videos, and I love her whole aesthetic, even though I hate the word aesthetic. I just think her videos are very pleasing to watch, and she reads a lot of good books, so I definitely recommend checking her out. But yeah, international booktubers are awesome, and I wish there were more, and I hope that more and more people join the booktube community from all over the world, because it's super, super interesting to see what everyone is reading and how everyone thinks of books. And so as usual with a tag, always the last question is to tag your fellow international booktubers, but I'm just gonna say, if you're an international person and you've ever thought about making YouTube videos about books or writing or any kind of YouTube videos, please do, make this tag, because I think it's really interesting to talk about where we come from and all our differences and things like that. So yeah, that's your initiative to start that YouTube channel and make this video. That was it from the International Booktuber Tag. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Sorry if it's a bit long. I tend to ramble. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Bye!